A record number of illegal immigrants are crossing the southern border. Militia groups are detaining them. A leader of one group was just arrested. Is what they're doing legal or illegal? And what does Border Patrol think? Hi, welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell on so you can be the first to watch our new episodes every week. Let's talk about illegal immigration, because sometimes I get tired of covering controversial topics and just want something light. And illegal immigration is the perfect topic, because even the bitterest enemies can sometimes agree with each other 100%.
We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country.
Wow. What's next? You're going to tell me Trump and Obama are actually friends and secretly agree 100% on everything? From healthcare, to international trade, to hilarious middle school jokes? Anyway, that video of Senator Obama talking about illegal immigration was from 2005. Trump tweeted it last October. And in October, a huge crowd of migrants called the Migrant Caravan was marching from Central America toward the United States. That caravan didn't last, but things have still gotten more and more intense at the southern border, as we're seeing a record number of people illegally crossing. More than 76,000 people crossed the U.S.-Mexico border in just the month of February. That's more than double the amount recorded from the same time last year. In fact, by the end of April, there have already been more apprehensions at the southern border this year than all of last year. And the Associated Press reports that the crush of people is overwhelming border agents and straining facilities. Meanwhile, Trump has refused to back down from one of his biggest campaign promises, to build a complete border wall. Although sources tell me this is the wall he really wants. Clearly, Trump has not finished watching Season 7. But regardless of which style of wall Trump wants, he has gone to extreme measures to try and make it happen, like causing the longest partial U.S. government shutdown ever. The good news is our government is back up and running and just as inefficient as ever. Meanwhile, there are others who have taken it into their own hands to patrol the southern border. I'm talking about militia groups. Militia groups often walk and talk like a real military.
Command, this is Team 1.
But they are not part of an official armed force sanctioned by the government. And that's one of the main problems with these groups. Of course, militias are nothing new in the United States. In fact, the word militia is mentioned 6 times in the U.S. Constitution, most notably in the Second Amendment. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, there were about 42 active militia groups in 2008, and that increased to 276 groups by 2016. It's not exactly clear how many people on average participate as active members of a militia. I mean, they're not exactly the sort of folks to send weekly reports to the government. And we don't know whether the surge in the number of militias means more people are involved or if it's just big groups splintering into smaller groups. But regardless, these militia groups have a lot of supporters, if not participants. These groups generally believe they are protecting the Constitution, the rule of law, and their own individual liberties. In the words of the founder of one militia group in Montana, think of them as your friendly, giant neighborhood watch. Well, the southern border has several neighborhood watches, like the United Constitutional Patriots, a militia group in New Mexico. You know they love America because they've got the flag and a bald eagle. Their page has 6,500 followers. The United Constitutional Patriots has been getting media attention lately because, like several other militias, it's been active at the southern border. According to their Facebook page, their goal is to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. They target all enemies, foreign and domestic, who they believe infringe on citizens' constitutional rights. As its leader, John Horton Jr., told local news earlier this year,
"This country was built on 3 things: God, guns, and guts. And that American flag has to keep flying. And it's in danger, a lot of danger right now."
God, guns, and guts. Try saying that 5 times fast. For a while, the United Constitutional Patriots operated and patrolled the southern border as though they were Border Patrol agents themselves. And they were armed. And yes, it's legal for them to be armed, as long as they have permits for those guns and as long as they don't actually use them, except in real self-defense. However, their camo outfits and guns do give off the appearance of an official group, especially if you're from another country, visiting in the middle of the night. And the United Constitutional Patriots has managed to detain hundreds of men, women, and children crossing the border. The group recorded several videos where their men looked to be rounding up over 200 immigrants to later hand over to real Border Patrol agents. A spokesman for the United Constitutional Patriots named Jim Benvey told Reuters that the group has helped detain over 5,600 illegal immigrants between March and April this year. That huge number and these videos are among the reasons why the ACLU wrote a letter to the Governor and Attorney General of New Mexico concerned about what they called an armed fascist militia organization. They say the vigilante members who posted videos and photographs of the unlawful arrests are not police or law enforcement, and they have no authority to detain or arrest migrants in the United States. And it turns out that their leader, the guy from the local news interview, has been arrested. And it turns out his real name isn't John Horton Jr., it's Larry Hopkins. But the FBI didn't arrest him for using a false name or for rounding up illegal immigrants at the border. The FBI arrested him on charges related to unlawfully possessing firearms because he's a felon and therefore not allowed to have guns. After Hopkins' arrest, the New Mexico Attorney General said it clearly indicates that the rule of law should be in the hands of trained law enforcement officials, not armed vigilantes. Still, members of the United Constitutional Patriots stand by their actions. They believe they are helping border agents, legally, by acting as vigilantes tasked with enforcing the law. So, where does the actual Border Patrol come into all of this?
Border Patrol asked us to come here. So we decided, okay, this is where we're going to build our base camp and we'll run from here.
Wait, what? Border Patrol agents asked this group to watch the area and detain illegal immigrants? A spokesman for the United Constitutional Patriots told the New York Times that Border Patrol agents have never told them to stand down or stop doing what they're doing. Well, it won't surprise you that officially, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol takes a different stance. They say they do not endorse or condone private groups that interfere in law enforcement matters. They also point out the risk of public safety and legal consequences. But Customs and Border Patrol agents have been caught working with militias in the past, so it's more than likely that practice continues today. Well, if your job as an individual agent is to catch illegal immigrants and some militia group is helping you do your job better and for free, would you really be incentivized to turn them away? So Border Patrol is not supposed to be working with militia groups, but maybe they are working alongside militia groups. It's hard to say what's really going on. But what about the law? Are militia groups really allowed to just detain illegal border crossers and hand them over to Border Patrol? The ACLU compares these detainments to kidnapping, while militia groups say their behavior is perfectly legal. Jim Benvey, a spokesman for the United Constitutional Patriots, told the New York Times that detentions were like a verbal citizen's arrest. A verbal citizen's arrest with guns. Meanwhile, the governor of New Mexico said that it should go without saying that regular citizens have no authority to arrest or detain anyone. Obviously, it does not go without saying, or she wouldn't have had to say it. Anyway, a citizen's arrest happens when a regular citizen detains or arrests someone who they believe committed a crime, and then hands them over to authorities. The standard for making a citizen's arrest varies by state. In New Mexico, where the United Constitutional Patriots operate, a citizen's arrest is restricted to felony crimes. You can't make a citizen's arrest for a small crime like a misdemeanor. And it turns out, crossing the southern border illegally is a misdemeanor offense, not a felony. That means, legally speaking, it's not a serious enough crime to merit a citizen's arrest. Basically, that means it's illegal for militia groups made up of private citizens to arrest illegal immigrants. A Border Patrol spokesman told ABC7 that private citizens have the right to visit public lands and observe, as long as they don't interact and try to get involved in the immigration process or enforce laws at the border. So if these militia groups are just observing people crossing the border and then radio Border Patrol, that's okay. And if Border Patrol just happens to find this helpful, that's okay too. But it's not okay, legally speaking, if the militia groups actually arrest people, and especially not if they post videos of it online as evidence of their illegal arrests. Despite all of the disagreement on whether or not these militia groups are helpful, there's at least one thing we can all see eye to eye on.
One common concern the United Constitutional Patriots New Mexico and Congresswoman Escobar share is the well-being of all parties involved in the border crisis.
We also want to make sure people don't get hurt out here, whether it's the agent or whether it's the immigrant or whether it's the kids.
I am concerned. I don't want anybody getting hurt.
There's a plot twist you didn't see coming. So what do you think about militia groups detaining illegal immigrants? Leave your comments below. And remember, America Uncovered is supported mainly by viewers. So visit patreon.com/America Uncovered. Contribute $1 or more per episode. We rely on your support to help us keep making great episodes. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.